Python environment and how Python plays a significant role in AI development. Okay, Python is we established that Python is one of the core language for building AI applications, AI systems, AI application model, even data analysis. Python is the core language for scraping data out, search engines, algorithm, and recommendation systems. Most recommendation systems is built from AI integration, and all of these are Python. Yeah, so we tried to establish that last week, and this week we're going to focus on. Okay, I think we also established um, setting up our environment, Python environment. That was last week. Okay, so today we're just going to do, before we move forward, we're going to do a revision, revise what we did last week, so we know that okay, it actually syncs into our brain and what we're doing. Okay, so we have that core knowledge that okay, yeah, past this stage and we're moving to the next stage. You understand? So last week we established some tools for building applications. Okay, and mind you, Visual Studio Code can actually build any kind of application. You change your PC. Oh, nice. Can okay, we installed Visual Studio Code, which is an IDE. Okay, and Visual Studio Code does not only work for Python alone. Other language like C, C++, JavaScript, building web applications, building mobile applications, you can still use what's it called? Visual Studio Video Code IDE to actually build all those applications. Yeah, so it's not limited. We installed that on our PC. I think I walked through the process of installing it on our PC and different ways to install it on our PC. Then I think we also installed what did we install again? Exactly. We installed Python 3.2 and 12, Python 3.12.3. That's the version. Okay, we installed, and there's version 3.13, which it's a newer version, but we didn't care about that because of bugs and every other error that has not been solved in those versions. So those are like core reasons why we actually do that at the end of the day. So right now, they establish how to do that. So you can get to, did you set it up on your new PC? Yeah. Okay, just ended it just now. Okay, but have you installed it? You've installed it already. And that's nice. You see how easy it is. So any PC you get to see right now, you'll be able to install your environment on it. Okay. Then today we'll just proceed. I don't know, the online students they are not here yet, but well, I'm just going to proceed without them. Okay. I think I'm sharing my screen already now. So okay, so we start from the question you asked. Okay, how to create from Visual Studio Code, how to create a folder and a file from Visual Studio Code. Okay, from Visual Studio Code. There are a few methods. Okay, either you use the terminal. Okay, either you use the terminal or you can come here from the file here, be able to create a file, but you'll not be able to create a folder. But you'll be able to create a folder from here once you've already created the folder manually from either your environment, whatever environment you are using to create create the folder. Can create from the desktop, can create from the documents. Okay, wherever you've created it. Okay, I think we've already established that already now, which is from here. Can come here, new, go to new, and create your folder. All of this, so we've established that. So the other one is from the terminal. Oh, sorry. Okay, the other one is from the terminal. Okay, from the terminal, we'll be able to create, I will say the command line is mkdir, which is make. Okay, so how do we go to the terminal? Now we go to these three dots. These 1, 2, 3 dots here. Can you see it from your? Can you see it from your terminal? Exactly. It's new terminal. So you go to new terminal. It's going to open the terminal for you. Okay. Let me see your interface. Okay. All right. So we said MK means make, then dir directory. So it's join together, make directory. MK dir make directory. So I can say folder one. I just want to call it any folder, sure. But I'm already in my folder already, so I'm just going to call it any folder. It's going to appear in my folder here. You can see it's folder. Is this appearing in your? It's going to appear there. So now from here, from that place, if you hover on it, you see from here, you see folder. No, yeah, this is icon, this small icon, yeah, that's folder. Then this first one, exactly from there, you can start creating folders. Yeah, inside the same folder we are in. You can create outside the folder. Yeah, but you need to first of all create a folder from the terminal first. But you won't be able to like there's no visual or graphic place where we can create a folder. You understand? You can only open a folder, you can open a file, you can create new file, but you'll not be able to create a folder. The reason why Visual Studio Code is doing this because if you open Visual Studio Code from anywhere, it assumes that place is the folder. So you basically just going to create the folder inside a file inside that folder. So they not implement any place where we can create a folder. You understand? Oh, say they can see the screen. Oh, I'm not sharing. Okay. Okay, Aiba now, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, 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 I can see it now.
All right. Okay. So so basically, so do you have any online students now?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, all right, no problem. So we'll just continue. So now we've gotten the first method, first command for creating the folder. You understand inside our desired folder we want to create. So you understand. Now I'm just going to delete that folder because I actually don't need that folder. But for you, I think you need the folder. So I think we also looked at the fact that we can also go back, which is CD. CD means change directory. C change then directory. I am just going to go back. It means like once you see this period sign, this dot slash, it means I am going back one folder. Yes, I'm going back one folder. But if I do something else like this again, I'm going two folders backward. You understand? So I am going to my desktop folder. I'm going to my desktop folder because it was my desktop folder I created in my Python class. Yes, so I'm just going to go to the Python class. Okay, so that's where I am right now. So now you can also create your own folder where you want to. You've already created your folder where you want after this, okay, to be in. So we've established that I am just going to remove this folder. I can from the graphic um implementation, I can just remove the folder, delete the folder here. Yeah, the other ways to also delete the folder from the terminal if you don't have access to all of this. So I'm just going to delete this one way. This other way to remove folder. ROM means remove. Then folder, I'm going to also complete it. I think I told you how to also complete that the tab. Tab. Yeah, tab feature. Yeah. But since this is the folder, it's not going to delete like that because it's going to tell you this is a folder. You need an extra command to actually delete that folder. You see, it cannot remove a folder, but it needs an extra attribute, which is ROF. It means you are forcing the folder to actually delete entirely. It's going to delete. I won't see there. It happens at once. That's why I really like deleting from terminal. It happens at once everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to clear my screen. Yes, now I think that has been established. We are good to go to this class. I will okay, good. All right. We are going to start from uh variables. Okay, variables and integers today. Variables and integers. Okay, I think in our last class we were trying to establish what was a variable. I think I asked you what's a variable, are we? You still remember? So what's a variable now?
Like, those are, you know what?
No, we didn't say it's yeah, wait, no. Try remember, try.
Well, I know you said variables and integers.
Yeah,
Integers are numbers.
yes, integers are numbers. Okay, we said variables are containers. They are like containers for storing information. Yeah, like and just say
I thought you don't show you that. Oh, you don't know this.
yes, don't worry, we'll get to that point soon. Okay, now I'm just trying to clarify what's a variable. Variables are more like blocks or containers that you store information. The reason why you are storing those information is to be able to retrieve that information later. Because there's no point of storing information if you don't want to use that information. And there are a couple of information you can store in variables. Yeah, you can store strings, which are text like this. These are strings. Okay, and you can store integers.
Strings.
Yeah, strings. Yeah, which is assuming str. It's referred to strings on programming. Str. Yeah, so okay, so the reason why we are storing information is to be able to retrieve it later. Yeah, or maybe in the future we want to use it for a stream purpose or for other purpose. That's why we get to like okay, fine. That's how we store information in variables. We get now when we store information in variable, um, the they have more like they have short memories. Okay, so for example, I am storing this now. I stored name. Okay, I am just defining what variable is. Okay. For example, if I should call this VR variable, it's giving me an error here because it has to be the same. Okay, so now we've established the fact that it's represented as VARS, which is variables. You understand? So if I come here, I say, we'll get to all of this one, how this is coming along, and class. It's going to print, it's not going to print what you are, it's not going to print the variable names. Yes, it's going to print what the variable, the information. Exactly, those are the variables. Those are what we stored in those variables. Now we already know that we are storing this inside this variable, which is strings, which is text. Okay, now for integers, which are numbers, integers are numbers. They don't carry what we call they don't carry what we call columns. Yeah, so if this was if this carries a column, then unfortunately this becomes a string. Okay, so if I print this out, it's going to appear, it's going to appear the same way, but it's already a string. Python is going to treat this as a string. That's why you see the coloring is even different from this number, this integer symbol. You don't want to. Sometimes you can also decide to store a number as a string. Sometimes not necessarily you have to store numbers as integers. You understand? You also store as a string. For example, I am saying the price of um the price of beans and rice is this. Okay, so instead of me storing it as this, okay, let me say total, okay, equals age plus grade. It's going to calculate everything together. Okay, now I'm just going to bring uh, this guy out total. Now it's going to calculate everything together. 110. Yeah, I'm just showing you different ways, numbers. So you can store information inside variables. Okay, let me just comment it for now. So I'm not there. Okay. Sorry. Inform me. All right. So let me just remove that and take this back to where okay. So now we've established the fact that variables take information. Yeah, you store information. You store your information inside variables, and variables can code anything. Yeah, variables can be um whoever you want to think of that you're storing inside. We said it can be text, it can be it can be numbers. Okay, which are integers. Integers are also referred to ints, also referred to as numbers. Okay, numbers. These are an error. I'm just typing it out here. It's also referred to as numbers. So now, how do we create our first project? This is our first class we are going to be creating. Okay, so let me see your okay. Can you shift this way? So okay. Okay, this way you want to save your all right, good. Now we're going to create our first, which is here. We're going to create our first class. Yeah, new file. We're going to create our first class. Yeah. You can also come to this file to create new file. Wherever you want to do that from. Yeah, but let me use this where you can use anywhere you want to use. Yeah, new file, Python file, just call it Python file. I'm going to save. It already knows that it's a Python. So it's just going to save us just py. Now we have to understand that every programming language has its own extension. For Python, it's called the py. So if there's no py at the end, it's not going to see it as a Python program.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So wherever you are saving as, wherever your file is going to be, it has to be .py. Yes. You probably might have seen .html, .css, all of those. So, but for Python, .py. Okay. All right. Good. You've saved already. Exactly. So you can see it's showing exactly the same. That's the Python icon showing a dead sweep, so you can see that. So now we're going to create our first variable, which is okay, I'm going to use name. Now, mind you, the variables stand alone. When you are writing a variable,
just click.
yes, click. What you do now, you click the file you just created. Click the file. You've clicked the file already. I mean, now you can see. Yes, exactly. You can see the first line there. Now, I'm just going to write name. What name am I going to put here? Tinosa. Okay.
You have to put the.
You can use any name. Yeah. Now, it has to be a name. It's what's it called again? Equals to. This is an equals to. Okay. Equals to. Yeah. Then semicolon. Semicolon.
And then
Yeah. After
you
your,
just divide it into two.
you seen it already. No, that's column. Shift. Exactly. That's your semicolon. Okay, now you can put any name inside your how you using your notes? How you using your name? Okay. No. I'm using your name because you're in the classroom. But it's cool. It's nice. All right, no so now we are storing an information. How do we print this information out? That's something second thing we should be thinking about. Okay. When we are getting this information back, we don't need it's not going to print where we saved it to. It's not going to print the number. It's not going to print anything else we saved. It's just going to give us the information we are requesting for. Okay, so if we get to call the name is basically just going to bring it out. Now we can save as many names we want to save to here. It's going to print it out. But first of all, we want to start from a single um name calling. You get it? Now, how do we get to output this name? Then give back this information. Yes, I pressed enter. It's going to go to the next line. Yeah, so print in Python is what we call it's a function. You can see, I think we talked about a function, okay, but when we get to function, we also treat functions. But now, what we need to establish is the fact that print is a function for at putting information that we've given to maybe our programs or anything that we've given to this variable. Now we want to print it out. For example,
if you type this name, you have to also type print.
come again.
Like I put name here. Like,
Yes.
so I have to also add print, then add name.
Exactly.
So like
so print the information you've given to it out.
So when you put down thing, I have to.
But these are the basics. These way into understand from you understand how the formations are being prepared out. Yeah. But later on, when we start dealing with other class work and other examples, we also see how to print larger code, larger language and stuff like that. Okay, so well now we need to start from the basics. Okay, so I'm just going to say name. Now you can see it's not going to give me an error because it already it's already knows that okay, I am calling this variable. Now I'm already calling. Okay, so it already knows that I am calling this variable. So now I am just going to. So I'm just going to how do we get to print the information out? Which is I'm going to call Python. We are using Python 3. So you just going to see Python 3.
Okay, under your
exactly the terminal. Yes, we are using the interpreter. There's no way you'll be able to run it from a graphical interface. So the Python is an interpreter, more same as the command line. From there, that's where we'll be able to read the scripts we're writing right now. Okay. I just like that. All right. So now we're just going to pop Python 3. Then begin to go, followed by the scripts we've written. You understand? Space, followed by the scripts we've written. Space, class. Now what I want you to do, no, go back. Okay. What I want you to do, just put this on auto save. So it automatically save when you're writing your don't to go back and save again. So you can come here.
Write this class.
Yes, exactly. Okay, enter.
Enter.
Directory. I want to come type Python. Python 3. Enter. Okay. Is it just installed already? Yeah, is it?
It's not
Yeah, you need to exit from the no, this is exit. You know it has yeah, probably it's a function. Okay. Yes. Now, what it's saying cannot open file because what? No such file. There's no such file. You have to look for where this particular folder is, where this particular file is created. Just dir. Okay, enter. Just enter. You are not there, so you need to enter this place. And we said from CD you can actually go there. So if you go to you're in the desktop folder, that's what it's saying. You're in the desktop folder. So CD text, yeah, sorry, print. I think you're using print. CD print print. That's what to complete. Enter. Okay, now we are there. You should be able to run. Okay, exactly. Yes. The reason why it was telling you that was because we're not in that folder. So that's right. So I was telling you that. So now we're in that folder. So what we are going to do, we are going to dwell on this a little. We're going to write more because it can actually take a longer sentence. Okay, not just names. Okay. If you want to add a sentence to this. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just trying to write something. This is the text. We also establish the fact that text has strings too. Okay, so same thing. But it can take longer, it can store longer information. So wherever we want to write it, can take it. You can try to drop an essay here and it's also going to take it. Okay, so I'm just going to print the same thing, print it out, sentence. You can see it's printed. It did not print sentence. It's only printed the information gave it. You understand? Now we can also continue from here. We can start adding um other sentence, yeah, or other strings we want to attach to it. Okay, so I'm going to give you something to do right now. Okay, and it's going to be string. So I'm going to um, okay, this this is a class work actually. So you can just get right on this.
That's yours, cancel this.
Yes.
Now to you.
He said no, you don't need to open a new file. You can just yes. Okay. Are you done? So what did you write? Which way you wrote? Okay, that's the classwork. You are going to do that and you are going to print it out.
I should write 100 words.
Yes. Any it can be message, can be text.
Yeah, I should just write it
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you
Well, I
can
can
print it out.
just Google words to write.
Yes, fine. So you can even write a love message or something.
100 words.
Yes, no. Is it too much? Is it too much?
The problem is 100 words. I don't even run you. This thing can run without network.
Yes.
Eh? I don't even.
Of course, you can build long programs with that network. Yes.
It will work.
Yes, that's what we are doing. It will be running now. Provided we are not building any application that will need network socket or anything like that. Oh wow. You don't know. Okay. I don't.
Not really.
Okay. You can just copy paste anything that you want to copy paste. You don't know.
All the pretty cards in the economics.
Okay. 10 commodities printing out pattern 3. Then your space then.
Please.
Space. Just plus or wherever you your wherever you saved your space. The name you saved your space. You can use the tab from this. Okay. Enter. Yeah. Okay. Good. It works. Okay. Now I don't know if it's clear enough. Okay, we can go over it again. Understand? So you understand, first of all, you need to understand how to print what you've written out, script you've written out. Same way, what you've written out, you can send it to somebody, and if they have Python installed on their system, you can also print it out. You understand?
But I can say this.
No, you can send this script, this is your script, this is your file. That's a program already. You can send it to somebody and they can run it exactly the way you want it. Understand? So it's quite easy. Yeah, so we establish one first of all how to create a file, how to create a Python file, which is very important. Every Python file as a .py. There's no Python file that does not have a .py. So this is how we get to know this is a Python file. If there's no .py, trust me, it's not a Python file. So with the extension, we're able to know, okay, we're able to detect that, okay, this is a Python file, right? And now we establish, we're not talking about integers and numbers, but still strings. Yes, what is strings can take strings the same thing as text. Yeah, we talk about variables. Sorry, talking about variables. What are variables? What do we get to store? A variable. A variable information to be used to be processed some other time. Understand now? They are advancing into uh, a broader programming concepts. Okay, some more examples. We're going to treat more examples till you get the concept. You understand? So now I want to, if you understood why I wrote so much, it's very simple. Looking at what I wrote, you can even tell what the answer is going to be, what's going to print out. You understand? Now I just said country, but I'm not giving the country. I mean, okay, this is a variable now. I want to save a name and information into this variable. Yeah, I've created. I'm not in Nigeria, by the way, Shara. Dubai. Okay. Dubai. What's city in Dubai? I don't know any city in Dubai, but AFG. Okay, let's see. Let's assume AFG is a city and street is good street or city, good state, sorry, good states. Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm saying I love the country I'm in. Okay. Don't you get it right, okay. I'm saying I love the country. I mean, if you understood or if you understand what this actually all about, yeah. Now you can see that there's a text inside this print, which is saying this is going to print out. But this country is already holding an information already. So it's not going to print country as a country. Now, if you are seeing this, you can see there's no error. Why? Because now to write something like this, there should be a comma. You understand? If I remove this comma right now, it's going to print an error out. You can see the error. There's another one here. Python is even telling you that there is syntax error. There's what called syntax error. We're going to treat syntax error. We're going to treat all those network errors, all those kind of error, a code error, all those error that you get to see, and okay, you know what you are doing. So syntax error is very common. At the end of the day, syntax error means something is mixing in your code, either something you need to do, either an indentation, either a small piece that you, for example, now our code is missing something. It's missing a a comma. You understand? So Python is going to tell you that something is missing in your code. If I try to run this code right now, you're going to tell me there's an error. See, it's telling me that there's a syntax error. You can see syntax error, invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. So once you follow what Python is telling you, sometimes the error that you need to do is already there. It will tell you that, oh, this is something you need to do. And that's why it's not difficult as where those error. It's like right now, we can see that the error is in this piece here. Okay, so we can just see the other one. Okay, so I want to remove this entirely, this entire code. I want to start again. Now, I want to print an information concerning like a personal information of myself. Okay, and I want to say, I want to give it like country, state, city, for example, and I'm storing them inside this variable. Okay, now I can say anything about my country. I can say, oh, okay, this is, or whatever I want to write.
Yeah.
Yeah, semicolon inside. Yeah, it's going to print this out. Okay, just watch this. I'm going to print. It's going to tell me I love boy. does not really know what you're talking about now because we've not called our variables. Now I'm going to call the first variable. I love I'm going to put Dubai if I am correct, which I am correct. You can tell me I love Dubai. Okay, now I can continue from here. I can say, oh, um, I love Dubai and I stay or I live in hold on, sorry, city. Okay, it's going to print that same thing else. It's not going to print what given to it. It's just going to print information, which is what we're interested in. So I love Dubai and I live in AMG City. Yeah, so we printed city. Mind you, there are plenty of numerous methods to write what I'm writing right now. You understand? So okay. And okay, exactly. It's not going to bring all this code, whatever. I'm just going to print a simple text that we want it to do. Okay, I don't know if this is clear enough. Now we're going to treat more example, but I wanted to
I want to
start. Yeah.
why are you asking? Say that this I love the you ask me from the country, right?
Okay.
The other one I live in. Why do you always
Colon. A semicolon. Exactly. Now, do you know we are since semicolon? In fact, that this is what Python respects. Okay. If there is no colon, simply you are telling Python that okay, I don't know what you are doing here. Are you trying to add this one to this, or you are trying to tell me that oh, this is a variable? Because when you are printing something out from when you want to print an information out, okay, it usually goes with semicolon. From printing anything out, it usually goes with a semicolon. But if there's no semicolon, then you are simply telling Python that okay, this is not a semicolon. I want you to print a variable. You are telling me that okay, you are telling Python simply that I've given an information to a variable. Give me that information that I printed to that variable. And the only way Python is going to know that this is a variable is when you add a command to it. Yes, you can see when you add the command to it, that's when it's going to see that okay, yes, you're actually telling me that okay, this is what you want me to do for you. And it's going to print it out exactly the way you told it to do. That's the reason why. Now, yeah, if you observe after this, there's also a comma before these strings. There's also the same thing. There's also the same thing here. Okay. We are also going to see other methods on how to like do this. But I want to, if there are more questions, please ask the question. Ask me any questions as much as you can. So we get past this. So I know that yes, you understood what we are doing so far. But we can start writing. You made mistake.
Um, If and I live in the city,
Okay.
command, you have to put a city again with
No, I just added that because I wanted to print this like I stay or I live in so city. Yeah, so that's why I added city.
before you show.
Not part, yes, not part of this variable. Just part of what I want to print out. So, okay.
So that's the guy this.
No. Okay. Are you done? The print out, let's see. No. Python. It's correct. Right, good. Now, this is one method of printing an information out. Okay, from Python. You can see this is another method printing an information out here from Python. You understand? Now, I just simply, if you observe, it's still the same thing I am printing out, but with a different approach. You can see the same or different approach. I'm just going to remove this. I think this one is cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, PF is me telling Python what to do. It means I want you to print this something like this out for me. Okay, it's always before the semicolon. All right. So it's always before the semicolon. Okay, I can still the same print country, city, state. Okay. 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 You following my example, Abi? Now, I'm just basically just printing all the variables out. I'm not adding any text to it. I'm not telling it anything. Just simply adding variable. Understand? Now I can start adding whatever variable, whatever text I want to add inside these blocks. We have already configured what I need to configure, set up everything I need to set up. Then I can just, okay, I love the country, which is United States of America. I'm going to print that out. Okay. Now, in a way, this is cleaner. This is more cleaner than the first one we did, if you observe closely. Okay. Let's leave it like that. There are more examples we need to treat today. Okay, so okay. Right, clear enough, Abby. Yeah. I think we're going to be using any one of them, any one of these methods we want to use. There are other ways to actually also print it, especially when we are dealing with uh, large variables already, or large information, or large programs. Okay, where we can start adding like plus sign and all of those. Yeah. So depends on whatever we want to do. Yeah. So okay, yes, it's going to print the two out. Yes, it's not going to print one. We can clean one. Yes. Okay. Exactly. Okay. No, that's wrong. It's not supposed to print the variable out. But you do not add. I think we are not adding something. Okay, yes. If you observe closely, this is not brackets. No, not the first F. What's covering the country? It's not brackets. Exactly. Code, um, code block or color braces. Yeah, just shifts and this shifts and that comes out of the. Okay, you can put it on now. Exactly, it's already showing. Throw it out. All right. Um, we've established this already. Okay, please try as much as possible to always go through your code again anytime you get to write your code. Yes, especially syntax error. Sometimes you want to print something that is not exactly what you've given to the computer explaining to you. Again, so some of those reasons. No, don't worry. I'm not doing it today. I'm just showing you that there are other things we can also do to print statements. Okay, so okay. Now we're going to see other examples. Okay, for example, like first name, last name, okay. You can now say, let's say full name was uh, first name. Okay. Last name. Okay. Now I can print the full name, and you already know what's going to print out, right?
Yep, do that.
Yes, once I write the full name. Now, I'll explain what I did. Okay, so you understand what's going on here. Okay. Now there's no space. Do you know why there's no space? Are you sure you don't?
Really, come on.
No, you're not supposed to have comma. That's the reason why there's no space. Right now, I'm already telling it give space already. To give space, still not giving space. Okay. Oh. Okay, the reason why space is not appearing, one is because of we are seeing plus. Okay, that's what we are. That's why it's. Let me check. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Okay. This was the reason. This was the reason. There was no space between there. So that was the reason. So it's going to print it out now because we're already giving space here. But initially, since we're already seeing plus this here, so it's going to summarize more like join them together. But the fact that this is not integer, we're not dealing with integer, we're dealing with strings. It's going to give you, but it's not going to print them outside. Like it's not going to join them together. It's just going to print them exactly the way it gives to it. So by saying now instead of coming here and saying print uh, first name, last name. Alright. Okay. You understand? So we can also get to do this. Okay. We can also get to do this. But whatever we want to achieve at the end of the day,
You can also use
yes,
for my last.
last name. Exactly. But we don't want to do this right now because we want to just save the two variables inside one variable. We already called this name, and we want to attach this first name and last name into one full name. You get, right? Okay. And I can also get to do this too. It's going to likely do the same thing. Exactly. Uh, it's going to do the same thing. Use space. Sorry. Okay. All right. So what we wanted to do here, you can also do it here. Depends on how you want your code to be implemented. You get. For all of this, Python will print it differently. Python will read it differently. You get. So um, basically just showing different methods which you can achieve anything you want to achieve. If you want to achieve something different, there are ways you can actually like do that. Okay, so we can get to start writing chat and move to something else. Can write the example and something else. Hmm? Okay. Syntax error. Something is not correct. Oh, okay. Right. They can get to Prince now. First name is not fine. It's not correct. First name. First name. And see name error. So let me tell you. Yeah. Okay. So corrected that now, right? All right. Go up. No, just click here. Okay.
I don't know why it will be.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Just ignore. Okay, they run again. It's going to print it out now, right?
Yes.
Sometimes exactly good. Now, sometimes before, okay, I think we're not going to go into that right now, sha, but there's also inputs where you get like, well, after running your command, it's going to ask you for your name. Yes, then it's going to print it out. Okay, that's called like inputs, but we're not going to that right now. Now, how do we get to print this John Doe or wherever name is given to it? How do we get to print it? Like, how many times you want to print it? Okay, we're also going to treat that. Going to tell it, print this name as many times you want to. It's going to print it. How many times? John Doe, John Doe, John Doe, John Doe. Okay. Now you have to that you have, I think you can see the like the names are joined together. Right now, how do we get to separate the name? Same method we used there. That is same method we're going to use to separate the plus sign. Now, okay. Still printing the ones. That's right down sometimes. Okay. Um, eight, yes. We hold on, let me check my examples here. Okay. Still 17. Okay. Oh, okay. It's just like it's small. Mm. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, this was what I was missing from the spacing. So, okay. So this is what I was missing from the spacing. So if you want to add more space, you want to add this space, yes, you have to put this into brackets. You have to bracket it. Now, the reason why that space is even appearing here, the fact that this has to be spaced. Assuming there was no space, it's going to join together. Okay, now we are already telling Python this, we want to print it 10 times. You get whatever is inside this place here, we are putting it 10 times. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
So that bracket you have it. And it's going to be like double bracket.
Yeah, double brackets.
Space.
Yes. The reason why we are doing this is the fact that you cannot really add this um multiplication sign, yes, to whatever we did before. You understand? Because Python will see that as a code error. You understand? So because what we want to do, we are telling Python print this as number of times we want to print it. Yes, just keep printing it or print 10 times. So it's going to print 10 times. If you say print 100 times, it's still going to print 100 times for us. Whoever is inside these brackets, you can see that it's already doing that already. Okay. How many times do you print it? Okay, it's looking much than mine. Okay, same thing. But there are cleaner ways to actually clean something as many times. It's called looping, for looping. But we are not going to talk about loop. There are different kinds of loop. There's for loop, there's while loop. Okay, and I think those are the common ones we are going to really talk about for loop and while loop. It does work. Most programs in it's written because. Okay, so I think this is much example for strings, but we're going to treat one more example imputes. Let me choose one more example, which is imputes. Before we go to integers. Well, I don't know if this is clear enough.
All this, I have to save them in Notepad.
Yes, you have to save them in Notepad. Okay. And so what we are going to do, we are going to save example one, example two, example three, like different examples in one. So I'm going to give this as example. Just going to rename it as name.
Okay, anyone with you.
Yes, yes. Just call it example one. Alright. So I'm going to put on that file. I'm going to call it example two. So this is example two. We're going to briefly talk about imputes. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow. Imputes, taking in something and putting it out. So we are not just only going to be putting it here. You understand? We're also going to ask ourselves questions sometimes. Yes. So if I want to save store a variable which is going to ask a question. You understand? Inside this name variable, I'm going to say inputs. In Python, Python understand that this is an input and it's a function. So I'm just going to say inputs. Okay, enter your name. Okay. This is a very simple. Okay, so now if I run this, you're going to tell me so it's going to ask for my name. Okay. So it's going to print this out. So instead of
Why did they have to?
exactly that's what we are doing right now. It's called inputs. Yes, inputs is a function. Now remember, this is a function. We said print is a function. So anytime we want to print an information out from our code, we use print to print it out. So, but if you want to give the information, if you want to give our code a statement, a command or something, or want to tell you, okay, this is something you want it to do, and want it to give us back, understand something like that. So we use inputs. Inputs is a function. So I can say inputs what's your name or what class are you or wherever I want to ask. So it's going to call the variable here. I'm going to call it inside the print. I'm going to print whatever we tell it to do. It's going to print it out. Okay, so I am printing something else. It's going to print one after the other. So I'm calling it again. What's my name? Alex. Then he's going to move to the second thing. What course are you taking? Python development or AI development. Okay. Now I can go further by saying um, thank you. Or I can just use the F strings that we used before and say thank you. Um, name. So just observe what it's doing. Now you can see that we're already growing our programming already. So and so now I can just any name I want to Kevin. Okay. Say what course are you taking? AI. So, and okay. They cannot tell you say thank you, Kevin. So he already knows that already knows that you stored Kevin inside this variable. Now it can tell you anytime that it's short memory, it's not long memory, like I said before, it's short memory. So it can tell you anytime that okay, anytime you get to call Kevin, anytime I get to call name, it's going to give me Kevin. So I can also say, okay, now, like we said, it's short memory, it's not long memory. Okay, so I can say Etinosa, okay, Python, size. They can say thank you, Exodus, understand. So immediately the program finished running, that memory has cleaned up, has wiped off, you understand. So that's what variable does. Okay, now we can understand that we're already doing our script already, our Python programming already. But we're going to take it further, then from there we can start writing creating chatbots and all of those. Okay, but we're not really dealing with all of those and we're still dealing with fundamentals. Okay, so but with time, all of this will be uh, branded inside the again. So, but yeah, you're just going to take this example too, because tomorrow, before we move to the example two, we're going to talk more about integers and numbers. Sorry. No, just continue what you're doing.
No, okay. No, that would be easy. You think the
So hmm?
you know I saved this as example one, example two.
Yeah,
Maybe I want to use my tab to
I to ask you, continue.
pick a place now.
Go back because the example was not spelled correctly. See, it's not supposed to complete the example one. It's supposed to get to the example one and add. Then you cannot add two to it. But you have to.
If I should correct it.
You can correct the rename. It's a comment. So it's correct. Okay, go back. Go back. And just remove the serious person. It's complete. It's an error. Your code. It's really an error. I think you are. Think. Then the error. Very certain you will the error.
Your perspective.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. So since we are in the class today, and we can continue from here tomorrow. We're also going to talk before we move into inputs fully. We're also going to talk about integers and numbers. Integers is the same thing as number. I refer to either you say the type names are usually integers, okay, but sometimes we refer to them as numbers. Okay, so we need to dwell on them tomorrow and um how to write integers strings, which are very, very common popular sometimes. Yeah, so tomorrow I need to talk about them. Okay. Well, what I want you to do, I want to give you some examples, some assignments to when you get home. Okay. Um, one assignment. Okay. What you're going to do, I'm going to give two assignments actually. You're going to print out okay, let me just give you assignments here. So these are your assignments. You're going to write so you're going to print these out. Okay. And you're going to print, we are going to attach an information to the names. Okay. We are going to attach an information to the message. We are going to attach an information to the sentence, and we're going to print it out. So we submit it tomorrow. Right. Okay. Okay, peace.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are done for today already. I think somebody just joined the class, right?
Yes, someone just joined in now.
Somebody just okay, well we are already class has already ended by the way though. Okay,
All right, so I
Victor,
can stop recording.
can you hear me? Hello, Victor. Are you there? All right. If you can hear me, please try as much as possible to join the class tomorrow. Okay, we're having class tomorrow by two, by two to 5. try as much as possible to be on time, so you can grab everything we would say and talk about on the class. All right, thank you very much. All right, peace. I think I'm signing out. Okay.
All right, so.
All right. Thank you very much.